But first, next time you get your sausage from Bunnings, be aware you're probably being filmed. The hardware giant has won permission to use facial recognition technology to identify problem customers. They trialled the technology a couple of years ago only to run afoul of privacy laws after they were found not to have given people adequate notice. But in a ruling yesterday, the Administrative Review Tribunal found Bunnings was entitled to use facial recognition technology, quote, for the limited purpose of combating very significant retail crime and protecting their staff and customers from violence, abuse and intimidation within its stores. The tribunal ruled that, on balance, the impact on privacy was not disproportionate when considered against the benefits of staff and customer safety. So, Caleb Bond, are you still going to buy a sausage from Bunnings, or has this just ruined it for you?
I fear I will, because I love Bunnings. I mean, it's just like a wonderland, isn't it? It's the equivalent of, as a kid, going to the playground, going to Bunnings as an adult. I assume some women have the same experience, but I think particularly as a man...
Women have the
yeah, probably
IKEA.
Right.
Or Chemist Warehouse.
Yeah, but going to Bunnings is just like it's a happy place. All the stuff in there, you walk in there, you walk out with far too much stuff that you really don't need and walk around the garden. I love it. And a sausage, I tell you what, on a Saturday morning, when you've had a few too many sherbets on a Friday night, the Bunnings sausage sizzle is just the ticket to cure your hangover. But I am worried about the facial recognition. I kind of understand if it is limited purely to weeding out people who've been banned from the store, and they say that the images of those who are not on the list are immediately deleted. But we're just kind of hoping that's actually what happens, right? And we know that this facial recognition technology, often paired up with AI, has been used around the world, including in London, where I think it was on the tube.
Yep.
They were trialling it to monitor the emotions of people who were getting on trains, and they could then use that data to basically curate advertising that they would show at certain times of day. If people were happier, they could show certain ads. If they were sad, they would show certain ads, etc., etc. So this is already going on. It's being tested worldwide. There is obviously a great commercial basis in doing so. So Bunnings might say now, yeah, well, we're only doing it to stop these thieves coming into the shop. But you wouldn't know what they would do. You don't know if they're deleting those images or whether they're keeping them. And if they do happen to keep them, even if it is against the rules for them currently to do so, if there were to be a crime committed, I mean, police would go around knocking on doors to places like Bunnings and saying, well, we want you to hand over a photo of every face of every person who's ever walked into your shop. It very quickly becomes Big Brother. A static CCTV camera is a different kettle of fish, but I really fear where the facial recognition, particularly paired up with AI, can lead.
But with a static CCTV camera, they often keep the footage on their servers for weeks. Whereas with this, it's 4.4 milliseconds that your photo is kept on the server for before it's deleted if there's no match found with one of their serious repeat offenders. So actually, if you're concerned about privacy, this is objectively better for your privacy, and the tribunal acknowledged that.
They're also keeping the CCTV footage, surely, because they would use that in the case of someone committing a separate crime if you're not on the list.
But they're not keeping the scanned image of your face. And I also think, yes, there are other implications for this that are being used around the world. But here we do have a privacy commissioner who, in this case, was very draconian and was very keen to, spend 3 years in court with Bunnings to try and make sure that this facial technology was blocked. So I don't think we should doubt that they will follow through with what they're committing to, which is deleting the images, because we do have a fairly good amount of oversight of this sort of stuff. And I think for businesses who are struggling with a crime crisis, who are losing millions of dollars of revenue to theft, whose staff get abused, requiring workers' compensation and all sorts of other costs, this is a sensible, measured approach that is the future.
The issue Bunnings had was that 66% of store theft was being committed by a very small number of people repeatedly. So the facial recognition technology would find those people, they could immediately take action. Would you pay more for your sausage and all the other things you love at Bunnings if instead of having this technology, More expensive would be just put security guards everywhere. That's the other option. Of course, you're going to have to pay for it with your sausage is going to be $5 instead of $1. Your wheelbarrow is going to be twice the cost. Would you do that?
Well, I guess it's just the price of doing business, isn't it? I mean, if it's another 20 cents, it's another 20 cents. That's what it is. I mean, you're not going to stop going to Bunnings because they put up the price of everything for 20 cents, are you? But I don't think it actually solves the root of the problem, because even if you have the facial recognition technology, even if you have 1 million security guards monitoring every part of the store, if someone decides to thieve something from the store, whether or not they are caught and prosecuted is at the mercy of the police. You can have all the footage in the world and all the security guards in the world and all the facial recognition in the world, but you actually need the law enforcement to come out and respond to that theft in order for anything to happen. So does it change a great deal in terms of catching people? I don't think it probably does. Might give them a level of peace of mind, but I'm not sure it really changes.
Bunnings can ban people from their stores without them having a criminal conviction. So I'm sure most people who are on this list of banned customers haven't actually been charged, and that's probably exactly right. The fault of the justice system, they should be. But this is the cost of the crime crisis. When you can't rely on the courts to lock offenders up, businesses have to take matters into their own hands. And it's interesting, the Information Commissioner actually suggested an alternative, which is that you pay someone to manually look through CCTV cameras 24/7 and compare that to the repeat offenders, and that is just not practical.
No.